Welcome to week one. You made it. This week we are going to be talking about posture and how your posture relates to your golf swing. Maybe a couple of easy ideas, or not easy, never want to use the word easy in golf, but a couple of ideas for you to go away with and practice when you go to the driving range, practice in your back garden, practice in your living room. Posture is such a key part of your golf swing, because if we don't have the correct posture, it's so much harder to build a golf swing around it. Your posture is one of the main fundamentals to get your body moving, and if that's not quite right, we're going to really struggle to get your swing right. So keep an eye out. We are going to start now. Welcome to week one and welcome to the Kendleshire Golf Club. We are here in Bristol today on this lovely day, and we're here on the practice area. So I thought we'd talk about posture, good place to start. I've got some clubs with me, my own clubs. We are going to do a video for you on clubs because it's a whole new can of stuff that you've opened up now that you've chosen to play golf. Don't go out and rush and buy anything if you haven't already. Yeah, there's a video coming just to explain about a few different things. So today I've got my pitching wedge, I've got my 7-iron, and I've got my driver. Yes, I know that might not mean anything to you, but I promise you one day it will. So the big thing is they've all got different head sizes, they've all got different angles, they are also different lengths. But again, that will be explained in the video. So my posture may change depending on what club I'm going to use. So I'm going to show you that today. So yeah, get ready and hope you enjoy. Now, before we do all this posture stuff and before we do this 5-week course, what you've got to realise is some of us have more restrictions than others. Some of us are 6'2", some of us are 5'2", some of us are 20, some of us are 80. So what we're trying to do is just kind of give you a general overview of everything. That obviously you might have to tweak it depending on mobility, potential, age, blah blah blah. That's when you might go and see your local pro. They're brilliant. Go see a pro, but you can come and use these videos as well, so you can get the best of both worlds. So enjoy. So let me explain a little bit what posture is. Posture is how you stand to the club and actually stand to the ball. So what you tend to find if people are just starting, they kind of stand to it how they feel comfortable. Comfortable in golf, and I will say this every week pretty much, comfortable doesn't mean it's correct. Comfortable means it's just something that we've got used to. It's a new habit. But what we're trying to do is give you potentially a routine, make this your comfort and make this your habit. So yeah, I kind of like to used to follow a kind of like 1, 2, 3 system, because that's how my brain works. So yeah, you follow it, you take photos, you kind of video it, but we want to get you in a good position to prevent injury and to repeat your swing. So here's a couple of ideas for you. So starting with my pitching wedge, which with the 3 clubs I'm using today, this is going to be my shortest club. Okay, so I'm going to stand to it and then we're going to go from there. So when people first start, the tendency is just to hold it how they want to and to kind of stand to it how they want to. So usually bending forward from the shoulders and potentially standing too far away because this is comfortable. Now the problem with that is your spine is like that. Now when your spine is like that, it's a lot harder to turn your body, and then we end up using a lot of arm movements, which works for some people, but we are not going to create a lot of power from that. So ideally, we're looking at having a straight back as possible. So when we stand to the ball, and I'm going to do videos from front on as well, so when we stand to it, feet kind of shoulder width apart, so we're nice and balanced. Can have the club out to start off with, nice straight back. I'm just going to relax the club a little bit. It can get a bit too tight, so we're going to relax the club. And then from this position, we are going to bow forward from your hips, and then we're going to flex the knees. So there's a difference between flexing and bending. So like I said, so start, I'm going to bend forward, I'm going to flex the knees. Now obviously I'm a bit too far away from the ball, so I'm going to shuffle in a little bit. And that is now me all ready for my pitching wedge. So if you notice the distance away I am, kind of maybe a fist width from the butt end of the club to my belt buckle. Club is kind of more upright, we call this in golf, which again we're going to talk about. But this is now me in a really good set position, so I can eventually turn my body on the way back and on the way through. This is my pitching wedge. So that was my pitching wedge. So quite straightforward. We're going to pretty much do the same thing for each, but this is now my 7-iron. Now what I've done is I've kept the ball in the same place as my pitching wedge ball was, and I'm going to show you the difference of how much further away I am with this, okay? So same idea. Feet shoulder width apart, nice and straight. And so from here, nice straight back, arms kind of rested against the body, club dropped about a fist width. So from here, I'm going to shuffle it out. So that would be where I need the ball to be, which is about that much further out than my pitching wedge. So from there, I'm just going to shuffle back, and that is my distance from the ball. So it's still the same distance from the club. I just get a little bit further from the ball because my club's longer. So I'm going to go nice and straight, relax that, bow forward, flex knees. Now I get the wax stick out. Now I get the one that everyone wants to smash. So you'll notice a massive difference in length with this one. But I've left the ball where my 7-iron was, and I'm going to eventually tee this up using one of my wooden tees that I like to use. That's a whole different story again about tees. And I'll show you what your posture looks like with one of these bad boys. So with a driver, with a bigger club, you might notice there might be a little bit more room here, because we're going to try and go wider and bigger and whack it, not too close. So if you're having lessons already, you are probably working with either maybe an 8, a 7 or a 6 iron. Just because these are kind of like the middle clubs. They're kind of, I wouldn't say easy, but they're not hardest. So that's why we get people using these to warm up with and practice with. So I'm going to use a 7-iron when we talk about the rest of the posture now, just as a kind of couple ideas that I see with new people and with people who have played a little bit and maybe slipped into comfort instead of slipped into correct. So like I said at the start, I will see a lot of people, whether it's back problems or they've done gardening or they've overdone it, or because it's more comfortable on the body, I'll see a lot more people kind of bringing their bum in a little bit, kind of hunching from the shoulders. Like I said, from here, we can't turn the hips properly and we can't turn our top half properly. So we've got to make sure we have this nice straight back. So sometimes I've had it with people that I've put the club across their hips, and from there is literally just push your hips back so your top half kind of goes forward, and then we flex our legs from there. But what I don't want to see is that we push our hips back, and then when we bend our knees we revert to this sitting down situation. Sitting down is not great, because what happens is all of our energy is like plonked on the floor and we can't really do a lot of turning unless we hurt ourselves. So keep that, flex legs, let your arms hang naturally down. That's a good place to set up to. So we've done the videos from what we call side on. So when we do any videos, when we video new people, when we video people that play golf already, we kind of do normally 2 videos so you can get the best of both views really. So this is a side on view that you're seeing at the moment. We're going to do a front on view so you can see if there's any changes in my body, if there's any changes in the way I set up, with where my ball is in relation to my feet. We call that ball position. So you can kind of get different views from the two different camera angles, even though there are similar things going on. Pitching wedge from front on. So what you'll notice is my feet are nice and balanced in terms of weight. They might be maybe a little bit narrower than shoulder width, but not a lot. I'm only 5'6". So from here, I'm gonna do exactly the same. So nice straight back, relax the club a little bit, bow forward, flex your knees, and then shuffle in. So from front on, I should look quite balanced. The ball's kind of pretty much in the middle of my setup, but I've got this nice balance feeling. The weight is in the balls of my feet, so pretty much directly over my laces. They're not too much in the toes or too much in the heels. It is nicely balanced, ready for me to use all the parts of my body. So once I've done my pitching wedge, I've got my 7-iron. What you might find is your 7-iron becomes your best friend when you first start. Got a lot of people that like their 7-irons. Now what I would say is if you have a set of clubs and you are having lessons, or you are practicing, try and use a lot of them, because it's so easy to just kind of get stuck with one because it's your favourite. But I promise you, the more you use them now, the more comfortable it will feel eventually. So 7-iron. Now what I might find with me is I might widen my stance a little bit. I have a little bit of dodgy hips, so I kind of push my feet out a little bit. You'll notice I end up a bit more like this. Dead straight forward or slightly out is okay. We try not to get too toed in. So from here, I'm going to go exactly the same. So there, relax, bow forward. Like for me, this is a 7-iron. If my pitching wedge was in the middle, 7-iron is slightly forward of centre, so it's actually slightly closer to my front foot or left foot if I am a right-hander. But again, nice and balanced, nice and kind of straight with my spine, not kind of too tense, just nice and relaxed really. Golf is a relaxing sport apparently. Don't know who said that. The wax stick. This is the most nicest probably club in your bag, but it's also the most frustrating because it is so big. If you know, it's the big size face, big head, and it's longer. When you get it, it can go a country mile. When you don't get it, it can also go a country mile, but it can go a little bit sideways. These are really, really beneficial to hit because they can get you further up the hole, the pitch, the field, whatever you want to class it. So the setup changes a little bit with your driver, which you will see. So at the moment, I have got a 9-degree driver. That might not mean anything to you, but at the moment I've got a 9-degree driver, and I like to tee my ball up quite high. So this is where it changes a little bit because it's obviously longer. So from here, try and get a little bit wider base because you're trying to give it some. So from here, we're going to bend forward. Okay. Ball position is going to be closer to your front foot. Again, where will depend on how you swing it, but at the moment, for me, just inside my left heel. And the last thing I'm going to do is tweak it a little bit. So everything else has been kind of quite upright or quite straight. With a driver, I want to really help this ball up in the air to start off with. So what I'm going to do is literally just tilt from my spine slightly behind it. So kind of don't change anything with my bottom half. I'm literally just keeping my bottom half where it was and just feeling that my spine is slightly behind the ball. And then that way I can launch it up and hit it country mile or not. So that's the start of your lesson 1 done. Or should I say the end of your lesson done. But anyway, that is us talked about posture. So we've gone from side on, which is the first few videos, and then we've gone front on, just to see the difference of what your body is doing, where your weight distribution is, where your ball position is, if your body does anything different. If we don't get your posture right to start off with, it's really hard to build anything around that. So please don't take it for granted, because loads of people do. It's a very important part of golf. So we've talked about keeping up nice and straight to start off with. We've talked about bending forward from the hips. We've talked about keeping your knees flexed, not bent. Anything else you can think of? Oh, it's a good start. So go to the range, have your YouTube clip, you know, have a little screenshot of it or whatever. But if you videoed it on your camera, your phone, from exactly side on and front on, you would see if you are doing anything different to me. So good luck, enjoy it, and if you liked the video, we're going to be doing the next video same time next week, but we're going to be talking about grip. Grip is a big one. Grip determines what this does at impact. So watch it if you like it. Can you give it a thumbs up? Can you tell people about it? Because it'd be really nice if you did. So thank you, enjoy the rest of your day, and take care.